pigeonhole myself in the category of environmental health, history of environmental health, which is bridges history of medicine and environmental history. Health conditions or health issues that are rooted in environmental aspects. So my first book was on the history of lead poisoning, but I called it a social history of lead poisoning because I didn't want it to just be about medical history. So the book I'm working on right now, hoping to complete in the next year, is again a medical and cultural history of rickets, which is the vitamin D deficiency that most famously causes infants to have bowed legs or knock-kneed legs, so to speak. So it causes softening of the bones, but it's implicated in so many other things. Its metabolic basis is in the calcium metabolism, and quite often lead is wrapped up or embroiled in the calcium metabolism because it's all about putting minerals in bones. So I had read about rickets when I was reading about lead poisoning, and I said, oh, that's an interesting kind of topic. But then what really happened was my second book project initially was going to be this big project about Americans moving indoors over the last 150 years. And as I started researching that, rickets just jumped out as an important subject within that subject. So I always knew it was going to be like a thread that would be in the history of moving indoors. But the more I learned about rickets, the more convinced I was that it needed its own small, hopefully, book. The kinds of sources that are typically used in a medical history are medical journals. The more I learned about rickets, the more I saw how culturally important it has been in terms of not just medical issues, but constructions of ideas about race, about disability, about who gets diseases of the environment. It's been a really interesting history because, for example, 400 years ago, rickets was seen more as a disease of middling or well-to-do children, whereas in the 19th century, with the rise of the Industrial Revolution, it was quickly transmogrified by social scientists and by medical specialists into a disease of poverty and into a disease of industrial pollution and dirty, dark cities. One is the big survey class that is there for all Brooklyn College students to take, whether they're history majors or not. Those classes have been really rewarding for me to be able to have kind of the first bite at that apple of students who haven't had a college history class, and to get them to look at these questions, more than look at answers, but how to look at questions in history. But of course, I love my history majors, and my smaller history classes I love as well, so I can't name favorites. The students at Brooklyn College are famously diverse along so many lines. I've got to say, the diversity has been just an amazing positive for all manner of teaching. In the class I taught last year, one of the projects was to interview students' parents about their childhood. I taught this class before, and everybody came back with American stories. In Brooklyn, the stories that I got were just amazing, and they really helped me in framing the questions that particular question, that particular assignment was both for the students, and it was a help for something I'm working on too.
Excellent, so that's it.
Oh, really?